So it basically seems that we can never catch a break with working on the cars. There's always something that goes wrong, makes them not run right, or they need work in general. And as far as my dad's BRZ is concerned, it is not idling correctly, it's burning oil really bad. And with the check engine light that it showed, it's basically referencing injector number 3 having an open circuit. And from doing some research and talking with James over at HRI Tuning, he thinks it's just the connector that is bad. So we're gonna swap connectors on that to hopefully see whether or not maybe it's just a connection issue. All I know is Drift Dad's pretty bummed that he can't daily his BRZ without burning oil and...
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. We'll fix it. I do want to show you guys though, on the cold start, what exactly is happening. It's just the idle stumbles, it burns a crazy amount of oil. And initially, when we figured out that this was happening, we were so worried that something was wrong with the engine. But it isn't knocking, which is good. The idle stumbles a little bit. There you go. Can't really tell, but on that rev, it did puff out a plume of smoke. And of course, because I have the camera up and running, the check engine light doesn't want to come on, but I know it's there.
I don't understand how the injector could have anything to do with the burning oil, though.
Yeah, I don't know either. But from what everyone's saying, we just gotta check the connection. If you guys do remember, about maybe a month or 2 ago, we had done a timing chain cover job on the BRZ because it was leaking pretty bad. So we're hoping that we didn't screw anything up when we did that, which I honestly don't think is the case. But then again, like Drift Dad was saying, I don't see the correlation between burning oil and an injector being bad. Drift Dad's wheeling our toolbox over here. With all the crap on top of it, I wouldn't be surprised if it all fell off. If you're wondering what is wrong with the FRS, we have a boost leak. It's only maxing out to like around 8 PSI. And actually, I'm not really sure if it is a boost leak or not. Hopefully it is, because that's gonna be an easy fix. And also, the rear tail lights don't work. And because Drift Dad wants to be able to take the car to work to show all of his work buddies, he can't. So we'll go ahead and start on the BRZ. We'll remove the battery, or just disconnect the battery, so we don't get electrocuted. We went ahead and removed the direct injector ECU. There are 3 bolts that are 10 millimeter that you'll have to loosen up. Technically, there could be 4 if you remove this bracket here. Again, it's just 10 millimeter. That bracket attaches to the bottom side of the ECU here. But now we're using a 12 millimeter to remove the injector cover here. There's 1 bolt up front and then 1 on the rear. The harness is kind of in the way, but just gotta loosen it up and then it'll come out. So the injector we are worried about here is this 3rd one here on cylinder 3. The one on cylinder 3. So the layout, it's cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so based off of the service manual, we have the injector disconnected. It's on that number 1 position on the harness that we'll have to test for voltage, and I think it said what, in between 10 and 14?
Yeah.
So we reconnected the battery and we're just gonna put the ignition switch to on the car.
Okay, it's 12.3.
12.3 volts.
Yep, so that's right.
So yeah, that's good. So we all know that Drift Dad gives me a hard time for hoarding stock parts, and it's actually going to pay off now with using
But look at this.
the injectors from the FRS.
It's not hoarding.
Swapping them out.
When you label them. And even when you date them, that's especially not hoarding.
It's still hoarding.
And we knew that we had this car, so checked everyone bad, we had them, right?
Yeah. So we figured we might as well bypass all of this injector issue by just swapping out the injector that we think is bad, because checking for the voltage on the harness side seemed to be good. So that's what we're gonna do. We went ahead, started the BRZ, pulled the fuel pump fuse to drain all of the fuel out of the lines. And then there are 2 12 millimeter bolts that hold the fuel rail in. And then it should just pop right out.
All right, give me one of my hoarded parts.
My hoarded parts. Which injector's feeling lucky today? This one.
Okay.
The FRS got bigger injectors because of the little thing right up here. All right, new injector is in. Bolt it down again.
New used one.
New used one, yeah. All right, everything's back in its original place. Now we're just gonna go ahead and start it. Hopefully this fixes the issue. So far, so rev it up a little bit. Honestly, the BRZ seems to be running just fine now. We let it idle for about 10 minutes and No check engine light came up. It didn't really stumble all that much. But because I already have an Ecutech license for the BRZ, this thing's gonna need to pay another visit to James just to optimize everything. But now we can go ahead and get started on fixing the poor old FRS with its boost leak issue and the fact that the taillights don't work. All right, the car is warming up. I have my nice solution of soap and water that I'll just spray on each of the couplers. And as Drift Dad revs it, we'll see if we see anything bubbling up. This is basically the cheapest and easiest way to search for boost leaks. That. Looks like it's bubbling up on the map right there, but other than that, yeah, that's the only issue. I did already manage to fix the tail light issue, and sure enough, all it was underneath the dash, right up under here. There's an accessory fuse panel right there, actually. There is a 10 amp fuse that controls your tail lights. So sure enough, here is the 10 amp fuse that is blown. There you go. And you might be wondering, how did it blow? Well, about maybe a year and a half ago, I ran into this same issue at a drift event, and I didn't have my tail lights or brake lights working for that matter. And sure enough, after doing a bunch of research, I had figured out, because I am not running side markers anymore, and the connector for them kind of just broke off from who knows what. But because the tail lights and the side markers are on the same circuit, these two exposed wires butted up against each other and then short circuited. So I put the new fuse in. We actually borrowed one of the spare fuses from the BRZ because I've used up all of my spare ones on the FRS.
There you go again, stealing parts from me. Not tools, you're stealing parts.
Yeah, but now that's good to go. But now, because we fixed it, you can take the car to work now and enjoy the boosties. As long as the boosties are fixed.
Hey, 7 PSI is plenty for me.
All right, now we're out here driving it. Drift Dad didn't want to come along with me, so I have an empty passenger seat. He was afraid that I was going to drive too crazy on the public roads. My gauge reading boost right now. So hopefully when I gun it, we'll see it go up to about 12 PSI. 9 PSI, so a little better, but not quite hitting the boost mark. All right, so I've spent the last hour and a half to 2 hours just trying to research what exactly would be the issue that we're having. People were saying that the target AFR that you should be seeing under wide open throttle should be around 11.6 to 12.1. And when we were driving earlier, I'm pretty sure under wide open throttle, I saw it somewhere around 13. So it might be leaning out. And then I'm sure there's some parameter within the tune that cuts boost, because of course you don't want to keep boosting when you're running lean. So I don't really know. Maybe I need to data log and send James over at HRI Tuning the log file so he can look it over to see exactly what the reason behind running lean is. But I mean, we've checked basically everything as far as exhaust connections. We just don't want to risk it driving this thing and then running lean and then something happens.
Another problem to solve. And when you solve that problem, you'll know how to solve it next time.
Yeah. Get a turbo, they said. It will be fun, they said. No, it's just full of issues. You know what should be in there? An LS.
Oh. Wait. What's that? Right over there.
Oh, yeah. Huh. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to be it for this video. I guess if you have any advice, let us know. I mean, I've been doing a bunch of research, and I think I've covered all my ground. I just need to get a hold of James and see what he thinks. He knows it all. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Drift Dad and I, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.